up, Yarny Box subscribers? Today we have our holiday box. I am super excited to get started on these. We have this little reindeer, we have an owl wearing a little Santa hat, and last but not least, we have a snowman in a top hat. These can be made with or without the string to make it an ornament. When you open your Yarny Box kit, you'll find that the gray yarn already has this magic ring started. We are starting with the owl tutorial today. So this piece here is called the tail. It is not attached to the ball of yarn. You can put that aside. This piece is attached to the ball of yarn. That's the yarn that we're going to be working with today. So this whole piece here is called the magic ring. It is the first round of the project and it's already done for you so that we can start nice and easy. The purple stitch marker here, you can see this loop is attached to the ball of yarn and that's the loop that we will be working with. And then the blue stitch marker is actually where you're going to be poking your crochet hook into the first time to make the very first stitch of the round. If you pull on it a bit, you'll find a little hole. That's exactly where we're going to be inserting our crochet hook. And you can go around the circle and count 6 stitches, and they look like little horizontal V's, so I'm pointing these out to you with my hook. Each stitch looks like a V. Now to hold your crochet hook, you can either hold it like this, which is like a knife, or you can hold it like this, which is like a pencil. You can play around with how you want to hold your hook throughout the project and what feels most comfortable for you. And we can start by putting that tail piece aside. And then we can wrap the working yarn around our finger a couple times. Again, you can play with how you want to hold your piece. This is how I like to hold mine, but definitely experiment and figure out what's comfortable for you. And we can remove the purple stitch marker now. Again, this loop can go tighter or looser depending on if you pull the working yarn. Just don't pull too hard or else you'll undo the entire loop. So insert your hook like this, and you want it to be pretty tight, but not so tight that you can't move your hook around. So something that looks like this is appropriate. And then we are going to insert our hook exactly where the blue stitch marker is, so you can remove that stitch marker now as well. And now we are going to make our very first single crochet of the round. So poke your needle right into that little space. You should have 3 loops on your hook. So again, right into that little first V that you see. And now we are going to yarn over. So with your hook, take the yarn that's attached to your finger. Make sure your hook is parallel to your body and make sure your hook is facing downwards. This is really important or else you're not going to be able to glide that yarn through the loop. So here you can see I'm just pulling it right through the very first stitch. So I still have 2 loops on my hook. And then I'm going to yarn over again and pull through the remaining 2 loops on my hook. And that is called a single crochet. That is the first stitch of the round. And now we're going into the exact same place that we were just in. So insert your hook again into the same V-stitch. That one right there. Insert your hook, yarn over, and pull the yarn through the V again. Just like this. So there's 2 loops on your hook. Then yarn over again and pull through both loops on your hook. So we just completed a second single crochet, which means we did 2 single crochets but only in 1 stitch, and that is also called an increase. So now count back 2 V's from your loop, so that's 1 and 2. Mark that second V stitch. That is the first stitch of the round. So if you want to go around the circle and count how many stitches you have, you should be able to count 8 V's or 8 stitches. And that's because we just did an increase. So moving on to the next stitch, that one there. We are going to insert our hook again, like so, yarn over and pull the yarn through the V. So there's still 2 loops on your hook here. Yarn over again and pull through those 2 loops. So that is 1 single crochet. And now we're going in for our second single crochet in the same stitch. So exactly where we just were, complete another single crochet like so. And now we're going to be repeating this all the way around. So in the next stitch, we are making one single crochet like so, and then going in the exact same stitch again, doing a second single crochet. And again, this is called increasing, so we're placing 2 stitches in each one of these stitches. And that's going to give us a total of 12 stitches at the end of this round. So again, that's the second single crochet coming in now. Moving on to the next stitch, we are doing our first single crochet here. And then going in for the second single crochet here. And then very last stitch of the round here, we are doing our last increase. So it's one single crochet and our second single crochet. So we just completed round 2. We went from 6 stitches to now 12. So if you want to go around the circle, you should be able to count 12 stitches. If you can't, then you may have gone wrong somewhere and you may need to pull this apart and redo it. So that completes round 2, and now we can remove our stitch marker and insert your hook again. We are going to make the first single crochet of round 3. So in the next available stitch here, where the purple stitch marker just was, insert your hook and make a single crochet. And then pause and mark this stitch right away. This is our first stitch of round 3. And we are not going to be increasing that stitch, so we're actually just going to go ahead and move on to the next stitch. So that one right there. Insert your hook and make 2 single crochets in this one. So this is our first single crochet, and that's our second single crochet here. So we're increasing every other stitch here. So this stitch, we are making 1 single crochet. Next stitch, we're making 2 single crochets. So that's 1 and 2. Next stitch, 1 single crochet. Next stitch, 2 single crochets. So increasing every other stitch all the way around the circle until we get back to the purple stitch marker. And in this round, we are going from 12 stitches to 18 stitches. So this is our last stitch of the round. We are ending on an increase here. And that completes round 3. So now we have 18 stitches. Round 4, we will be going from 18 to 24 stitches. So go ahead and place your first stitch of the round here. And then pause and mark this stitch. And now we're going to be increasing every third stitch. So in the next available stitch, just 1 single crochet again. And then in the third stitch, we are doing an increase. So 2 single crochets, this is 1 and 2. Single crochet in the next 2 and increase in the third. So single crochet, single crochet, and then increase in that one. Single crochet, single crochet, and increase. And keep repeating this until you get back to the purple stitch marker. So coming up on the last stitch here, this is our last increase of the round. And now we have 24 stitches in our circle. So this next round is going to be our last round of increasing. So place your first stitch of the round in the next stitch here, and then mark that stitch. We are going to be going from 24 to 30 stitches in this round, so we're increasing every fourth stitch. It will be a single crochet in the next one, single crochet in the next one, and then increase in the next one. So single crochet, and increase. Again, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, increase. Just keep repeating this pattern all the way around the circle until you get back to the purple stitch marker. So this is the last stitch of the round. We are doing our last increase. And that completes that round. For round 6, we will not be doing any increasing. We are just placing one single crochet in each stitch around the circle, meaning we'll still have 30 stitches at the end of this round. So place your first single crochet in the next available stitch and mark that stitch. And then just continue single crocheting all the way around the circle until you get back to the purple stitch marker. So no more increasing in round 6. So coming up on the last stitch of the round, you can see it's kind of curling in on itself and creating more of a head shape, which is exactly what we want. If you are making the reindeer or the snowman, you're going to do another 6 rounds of just plain 30 single crochets all the way around the circle. So I'll meet you here once you've done 6 rounds of that. Don't forget to mark the first stitch of each round after you've completed it. And if you're making the owl, you're just going to do another 2 rounds of 30 single crochets. So I'm going to speed up the next part of the video, and if you're making the owl, I will meet you back here once you've done 2 rounds of 30 single crochets. So we're almost back at the stitch marker of round 8, and when you get to the very last stitch of the round right here, only do half the single crochet and then we're going to stop. We're going to change the color to white at this point. So grab the white yarn from your kit, and this is going to be super simple, so don't sweat it. All you're going to do is pull the white yarn through those 2 loops from the last single crochet. And that's it. That's all there is to changing a color. So now I like to cut the gray yarn, And then I'm going to double knot the tails of the white and the gray yarn together so that they don't come undone later in the project. So now that we've changed our color, we are going to do another 4 rounds of 30 single crochets, and we are working with white yarn now. So you can remove your stitch marker and place your first stitch of the next round. And then we are going to pause and mark that stitch. And I'm going to speed up the video again. I will meet you back once you've done 4 rounds of 30 single crochets in white. So we're coming up on the last few stitches here, and we are going to pause and insert the eyes of our animal in the next bit. In your Yarny Box kit, you should be able to find safety eyes and also these white felt pieces. The white felt pieces are for the owl, and we are going to be poking these safety eyes into the center of these felts to make the owl eyes. If you're making the reindeer or the snowman, you do not use any felt, you just put the safety eyes directly into the yarn. Here I'm pointing out how to see your rounds. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. The rounds are separated between tiny little circles and they kind of just look like rows. We're going to be inserting the safety eyes between rounds 7 and 8. So that would be this row here. This is how the eyes are going to look on the reindeer or snowman. So there's no white felt, you're just popping the eyes directly into the yarn. And it's the same, you're going to insert them at rows 7 and 8. I like to insert my eyes about 3 visible stitches apart, so you can see I'm pointing those out here. You can do further or closer together, just depending on how you want your head to look. For the owl, I like to put my eyes a little bit closer together than I do the reindeer or the snowman. So for the owl, just make sure the color changes on the direct opposite side of where you're putting your safety eyes. And you can see that I'm putting the eyes a little bit closer together than I did on the reindeer. And then grab a couple of the eye backs and you're just going to pop the backs directly onto the eyes like this. We're moving on to round 13, so remove your stitch marker and we are going to start decreasing. So place a single crochet in the first stitch and then mark that stitch. And then another single crochet in the next stitch. Another single crochet in the next, and now we are going to do a decrease. So you can see that each V has 2 sides. It's got a back loop and a front loop. Here I'm showing you the front loop. So my hook is only on one side. This is the back loop. So for decreasing, we are only working in the front loops of the next 2 stitches. So insert your hook in the front loop only of the next stitch, and immediately in the front loop only of the next stitch as well. So I'll show you that again, front loop only, and then in the next stitch, front loop only. So you can see those are the back loops that our hook is not in. So now there's 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops. And what we just did was we combined 2 stitches together. So do a single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and then decrease. So front loop only, like so, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and decrease. And just keep repeating this until you get back to the purple stitch marker. For round 14, we are also going to be decreasing. So place a single crochet in the next available stitch and mark that stitch. And we're going to be going from 24 stitches down to 18 in this round. So single crochet in the next stitch as well, and then do a decrease. So we are decreasing in every 3rd stitch in this round. Single crochet, and decrease. Single crochet, and decrease. And just keep repeating this until you get back to the purple stitch marker. So this is the last decrease of the round. And I'm going to pause here and stuff the owl a little bit. Not fully stuff it, but just stuff it about 3/4 of the way. So before you stuff it, just make sure you pull the stuffing apart to loosen it up a little bit. And then as you're stuffing the body, just make sure you're really shaping out the round circle look of it. So really press out the bottom with your thumbs. And I like to stuff mine about 3/4 of the way at this point. Should look something like this at this point. And then we can continue doing the last couple rounds and we will be all done the body of whatever animal that you're making. So for the next round, place a single crochet and mark that stitch. And then you're going to decrease in the next stitch. So this round we're going from 18 down to 12, single crochet and decrease. Single crochet and decrease. Just keep repeating that until you get back to the purple stitch marker. Next, I'm going to finish stuffing my owl before we do the last round. So just grabbing the stuffing and making sure that you're shaping out the bottom of the body. The last round is going to be 6 decreases. So decrease right away, and then I'm going to mark this stitch here. And then just keep decreasing all the way around until you get back to the stitch marker. To close up the body, you're going to take your yarn needle that you can find in your Yarny Box kit and thread that little tail piece onto it. And then you're just going to be putting the needle into each front loop of each stitch around and pull it through. This is going to create a drawstring effect where we can just pull the entire hole shut. And then you can just pull like this, make sure the hole is nice and shut. And then I'm going to weave in my end. So to do that, all I'm doing is poking my needle in random holes throughout the body just to make sure it's woven in back and forth and it's not going to come undone. Once you've done that, you can trim it, and that completes the body. So whether you've done the owl, reindeer, or snowman, the tutorials to finish off the bodies are linked down below, and I'll see you in part 2 of whatever creature you're making.